In this video, I'm going to talk about the Armtec Armory Overkill suppressor in 9mm and 45. This is a prototype model. The finished versions will be available shortly, but the basic design concepts remain the same. The suppressor is, again, built up of a few main components: the heat shield, shown here, the clamshell suppressor body. This particular version for 9mm or 45 has a Nielson device built into it. That's this section here that is a linear inertial decoupler or lid, also known as a Nielson device, which disengages the barrel of a tilt barrel pistol, such as a Glock or H&K, from the suppressor, allowing the pistol to properly cycle. These suppressors can be obtained with the Nielson device or with threaded adapters such as these if you choose to run these suppressors on a 9mm or 45 caliber rifle. So you don't need the Nielson device if you run them on a rifle. It is possible to run the Nielson device by removing the spring that you'll see shortly and putting a collar in place to lock the suppressor in place. Personally, I prefer to remove the Nielson devices and add the threaded adapter because of weight reduction issues. At this point, I'm going to show you how to disassemble the suppressor. It's very simple. The Nielson device basically simply screws off. The spring comes out and the Nielson adapter moves out. You'll notice that there are four indents in the adapter. This allows you to orient by holding the barrel and moving it in different directions. You can orient the suppressor in basically 360 degrees, which allows you to compensate for any point of impact changes that might occur due to the weight of the suppressor on the end of your pistol barrel. You simply take the piece of this threaded adapter apart, and after shooting probably 100 to 200 rounds, these are made of precision ground steel. This should be just cleaned off with a rag. The heat shield then comes off the suppressor, and you're left with the same type of clamshell that we have in the 22 Overkill suppressor series. However, this one is in 9mm. I'm going to take it apart now the same way as the other suppressors come apart. There's 12 screws that hold it together. They simply unscrew. At this point, I'm going to remove the last screw from the suppressor, at which point the clamshell design comes apart in two halves, as you can see here. This is a much used suppressor. You can see the actual blast pattern of the powder burn in the suppressor. The first chamber is called the blast chamber, and you can see the pressure reversion patterns that are actually laid onto the anodized aluminum body. When this is fired, the gas pressure comes back, reverts back upon itself, and cancels as the bullet moves further down through the suppressor. You see the same pattern being produced in each of the 6 chambers, resulting in very low pressures by the time you hit the last chamber. To remove the Nielson device adapter, you simply take it out. If you wish to use this suppressor with either a pistol with a fixed barrel or a rifle, such as a Sig Sauer MPX or a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, or any rifle with a fixed barrel with typically a 1/2 by 28 or 5/78 by 28 threads, you would take one of our thread adapters and simply plop that into the position and then close the suppressor with that in place. This is a great option for fixed barrel rifles because it eliminates any potential slop in the system. To To put the suppressor back together, one would simply take the half shells, put the Nielson device adapter back in, or the fixed thread adapter, close the shell, and add your threads. Now I should point out that this suppressor is designed to be run wet, and what that means is that suppressors all have a phenomenon called first round pop, which is when the first bullet goes through the suppressor, the gases behind fill the suppressor, pushing air out, causing a popping sound. To avoid that, one can either add water or light lithium grease by using your finger into each half of this suppressor, trying to avoid the actual bore area. Keep grease out of the bore. If you get some in the bore, just wipe it out with your fingers gently. Add grease into each of these chambers, then close the suppressor and reassemble all the 12 screws, as well as the heat shield. This is a very, very simple design. It's very rugged. I should make the point that what I do is add all of the screws into the suppressor, and when I'm finished, I tighten them just finger tight. You don't need to, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure on this. You notice the line between the two half shells is almost completely invisible, and in general, there's absolutely no gas leakage once the suppressor is tightened up between the two shells. You then slip the heat shield back over and reassemble the Nielson device. And you're ready to go fire. Thank you for watching this video.